Afghans who once left their homes, now doing what they can so their homeland will one day prosper.
Because we want to help American Army, and also first of all we help to my people, and then this will be good for my country.
There are few who would question the realism these role players bring to the JRTC experience. Be they Afghan American or Iraqi American, their contributions have left an impact.
After you hug, you shake the hand. No, you hug first and then you shake.
Typically the first of 5 comments that will come back every single time is Engagement University was the most productive training that I did at the CTC. Don't stop, and in fact, double that effort.
I like that. You have to open build a relationship.
Take a ride along any of the pine-lined streets of Fort Polk, or through one of the Joint Readiness Training Center's simulated Iraqi and Afghan villages, and it's easy to forget you're in southern Louisiana.
I mean, you can never really replicate what's going to happen, but this is a pretty good.
We send our fire markers, or people that use the battlefield effects, so there's many different explosions. A VBID or a car bomb is very similar to what you see in theater, however safe. There's IEDs, suicide vests, indirect fire, and the battlefield effects people have gone through training to better replicate the type of blast and concussion that they would see in theater, obviously without the effects.
But for all the mock explosions, simulated attacks, and convincing effects, realism is just one of the many components needed to properly prepare a soldier. A second, all-important element, relevance.
We routinely send folks from the operations who have been to theater to spend time in both Iraq and Afghanistan for 2 to 3 months. We have permanent LNOs that are in theater that provide us real-time feedback. And then from theater, the commanders in theater actually have a pretty aggressive program of having video teleconferences with us to provide lessons learned over time.
And you look at the cadre of the observer controllers that are assigned here, most of them are right out of theater within the last 6 months to a year. They're brought in here, and then they sit there and coach, teach, and mentor those who are preparing to go. And so they're bringing back their own personal experiences and injecting that into the training program here.
Red 4, Roger.
And it's those experiences that directly influence the flavor of training here. This system of constant adjustment to meet the precise needs in the war zone is a prime example of the changing face of Army combat training. Compare this to training near the start of World War II. Remember the famous Louisiana maneuvers we mentioned earlier? Legend has it, many soldiers used broomsticks and wooden posts for rifles. To simulate attacks, Army pilots flying overhead dropped paper bags of flour on the soldiers below. Not exactly a precise replica of what World War II combat would be like, but nevertheless, the Louisiana maneuvers involving more than 400,000 soldiers would go down in U.S. history as the big one, the pinnacle of all U.S. Army pre-war training operations. When you take a look at all the equipment, assets, the details that go into supporting a unit at the JRTC, it's obvious. Combat training has come a long way. And the U.S. Army is eager to get the word out.
Because I'm not sure the American public always fully understands the degree to which we go to try to replicate and prepare our young men and women before we put them in harm's way.
Here's my litmus test for successful rotation. I want every counterpart, so in my case again the brigade commander, to look his counterpart OC in the eye and say, I would not have been prepared for combat if I didn't come to JRTC. That is my litmus test.
A lofty challenge. Perhaps that explains the motto you can find posted at most every corner here at Fort Polk and the Joint Readiness Training Center.
Forging a warrior spirit. In my opinion,
It's making those soldiers trained in those tasks that soldiers should be, what we would really think of when you think of an Army soldier. Here, they get that chance to train all those tasks. It's not necessarily something they can do at home station. And bottom line, once you go through a rotation at JRTC, you truly are a trained soldier at that point, ready for deployment.
All right, let's go. We're good.
Each month, around 3,700 troops take on the most realistic deployment scenarios the Joint Readiness Training Center can come up with. Their toughest day at Fort Polk helps ensure they can deal with and survive the challenges many will face. I'm Tech Sergeant Ryan Hoke. Thank you for watching Recon.